Let's get started on your goals. Welcome to the Recruit, Connect, Inspire podcast, presented by OneCore Workforce Solutions, a progressive recruitment agency recruiting talented people for great businesses. Our mission is to bring you motivation, inspiration, and thought-provoking conversation from a real-world perspective, inspiring you to take action and achieve the success you were meant to have. Connect online at www.onecoreworkforce.com. And now, here is Denise Nixon with today's episode.
One of the most amazing lessons that I have learned since being an entrepreneur is the lesson of staying power. Staying power. What do I mean by staying power? Let me give you an example. On the news this week, the reporters were interviewing a gentleman. He was an owner of a car repair shop, and his car repair shop had been around for years. I believe it was a family business, and his father had this shop and more than likely passed it on to him, or maybe him and his father were working in it together, and maybe his son was working in it as well. And it was a family business. It had been around for a long time. The reporter was interviewing the gentleman to get his comments on the workforce and employers and just the job force in general, and getting his feedback on that. And the reporter asked the gentleman, what did he feel was the greatest change in his industry since his car repair shop had been in business? And his response was, the biggest change that he had observed was the change in the cars and the technology. Years ago, it probably was unheard of, or it may have been hard to imagine the amount of technology that now goes into cars, the electronic components, the computers, the different types of mechanisms that contribute to that car running efficiently. He stated that the way his car repair shop was set up maybe 10 or 20 years ago, it would not be effective today if it were running the same way that it was 20 years ago, because they wouldn't have had the equipment or the technology to be able to service the cars today. Cars are not the same. So the repair shop owner stated that he has to observe the industry, stay current, and be able to change and be flexible in order to be competitive in his job market. This gentleman has staying power, and that's what I mean by staying power. We hear the definition of insanity often quoted as being the state of doing something over and over again and expecting different results. Well, this car repair shop owner is still doing the same thing over and over again, and he also expects the result of being successful. But the important ingredient in his staying power is that he watched the industry and he made changes to how he did things. His basic concept of fixing cars has not changed. He didn't open up a fast food restaurant in addition to it to try and make money. He stayed with the car repair shop concept and modified his techniques in order to stay competitive in his industry. So what am I saying? If you have a dream or a vision, maybe you tried a couple of things to make it successful and they didn't work. And maybe that definition of insanity played in your mind, so that forced you to stop trying. But my question to you today is, do you have true staying power? Are you willing to do what it takes to make your business successful? When I first started my recruiting business, I can remember approaching businesses, sending correspondence or calling them or trying to make a contact that I knew within the business. And it may have been that they just did not need my services, or maybe they were dealing with another recruiting company and they just weren't interested. Or maybe they saw my recruiting business and said, well, you know what, she's brand new. I think we want to deal with someone with more experience. That's okay. But it wouldn't have been okay if I allowed that to say, well, you know what, I asked about 5 people and they said no, so maybe I need to look at another career field, another business. How bad do you want it? I continued until I discovered an audience that required my services. Haven't looked back. I enjoy every moment of it. What is your passion? And do you have staying power to make adjustments? One of the adjustments that I had to make was communicating more with my clients and applicants. There's a weekend cafe now that goes out every weekend as a newsletter to let people know about open jobs and to give people motivation and inspiration. I had to modify my website so that I can advertise jobs, so that when people go to my website, they don't have to look for open jobs. As soon as they go there they are in front of them. What am I saying? You got to change and be flexible, but I'll continue to do the same thing, which is connecting businesses with great candidates. You've got to be flexible, you've got to be open-minded, but most importantly, you've got to have staying power. Because if you quit after 1 or 2 times, then maybe you really didn't want it. So I asked the question, how bad do you want it? And if you know that's your purpose and your calling and your passion, you'll know it. Because when you talk about it, you'll speak with passion and you'll move forward and you'll have staying power. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. And I hope that you will have the staying power that you need to make your business successful. Thanks for listening. And as always, take care.